not qualifying, you're going to run into a lot more no's, and that's going to mess up your confidence. And that confidence is everything, because you have to be confident when you're selling. If you're not, you're just going to like whittle your prices down more and more and more. And that's eventually what did happen.
What was that drive? Where does that come from?
Every single day was just a day that I knew that I needed to do something else. And that just the pressure of that building up. Also wanting to make videography my career, and also wanting to be successful. And success is defined in many very, very different ways. But success for me, defined at that moment, was running a business that made more money than I was currently making. This is why success is a funny thing, because we all get in our own heads when we're in the current moment. If I looked back to 2019, I would consider myself very successful right now. In the current moment, I'm thinking I have all this stuff to worry about. I got this to worry about. Oh my God, what's with this?
They say for every level, there's another devil.
The coolest thing about video is people can get to know you before ever even meeting you. It automates your sales process in that aspect. People got to feel like you're going to be able to deliver on what you're trying to sell them. And funny enough, if you're charging more, that kind of builds that in. Because if you charge less, they're gonna look at you as less. Basic psychology. I remember going downtown, not Colorado Springs, downtown Kansas City, walking into businesses and then being like, can I make a video for you for free? And people just look at you like you're stupid. And it sucks because you gotta go through a lot of no's for that too. You gotta go through no's for free. And it teaches you a lot of things though, because it's not free. What it's gonna cost them is their time. It's gonna cost them the energy that they have to put into making this thing that they don't even know why they're doing it, because it's free. I think you build those case studies though from the free ones. When you go into a networking meeting, identify the person who is the biggest in the room and go up to them and punch them in the face.
Don't do that.
Yeah, he was chaperoning it, like he was doing the MC stuff. He was talking on stage, and like I just knew he was glowing the most out of everyone in the room. And so I walked up to him, went to him, got his card, and like reached out to him, and he was like, I do have this project I want to do, and I was like, let's do this. Welcome to the Colorado Springs Business Podcast, where we discuss business principles and provide real-life insight into the lives of everyday business owners and entrepreneurs. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe or leave a review wherever you might be listening. Now, let's talk business. We interrupt this program to bring you our sponsors, the people who help make this show possible. Dope Tees. Dope Tees is one of our fresh new sponsors that we have for you today. Dope Tees is here to help level up your style game. They're all about killer designs and top-notch quality. Seriously, go check them out. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing Dope Tees right now. This is a tee that I'm wearing that is a dope tee. Thank you, Dope Tees, for supporting us and helping us do what we do here at the COS Business Podcast. Curious? Head over to Dope Tees' website right now. That's www.dopeteez.biz, B-I-Z. That's www.dopeteez. Yes, check it out. We're thrilled to introduce our newest sponsor, Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care. Are you tired of the hassle that comes with traditional healthcare? Pinnacle is here to change the game. For just $68 a month, you get direct access to your primary care physician without the need for insurance, copays, or deductibles. Yeah, you heard that right. It's healthcare simplified. The benefits of using Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care is strong doctor-patient relationships. Enjoy extended 30 to 60-minute office visits and get the individualized care you deserve. Convenient access to care. Whether you're at home or travel the world, you can reach out to your local doctor via chat, email, or video visits. Cost-effective treatment. Pinnacle believes in radical transparency, offering you cost-effective care without any hidden fees. So, if you're ready to take control of your health and be an active participant in your healthcare journey, Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care is the way to go. Visit their website at pinnacleapc.com. That's pinnacleapc.com. Franchise Succeed. Franchise Succeed brings a wealth of knowledge to the table, boasting a team of over 6 decades of combined experience in franchising and financial planning. They specialize in helping business owners elevate their companies through franchising. What sets them apart? Expertise in multiple industries. Whether you're in retail, finance, or energy exploration, they've got you covered. Tailored strategies. They work closely with their clients to understand the unique needs and goals, developing customized investment plans. Ethical approach. Integrity and ethics are at the core of their operations, ensuring they work with only the best and most qualified partners. They can help you. From customer service policies to million-dollar marketing programs, they've got the expertise. If you're thinking about franchising your business or need strategic guidance, look no further. That's franchisesucceed.com. franchisesucceed.com. Our next sponsor is a company I like to call, and they like to call themselves too, Planet Duct. If you're in Colorado Springs and surrounding areas and you haven't heard of Planet Duct, you're missing out. They're not just any air duct cleaning company service. They're NADCA certified specialist. Here's what sets them apart. Powerful equipment. Their team is highly trained to give your air ducts a cleaning that is literally out of this world. Comprehensive cleaning. From blowing the dust from your duct vents to cleaning the truck lines, they've got it all covered. They even clean the return drop, blower wheel, and filter compartment. Safety checks. After all that cleaning, they do a free carbon monoxide check to ensure your system is safe. Time efficient. Depending on your home size and project scope, they typically take about 3 to 5 hours to get the job done, and they get it done right. So if you're looking to breathe a little easier, give Planet Duct a call. Trust us, your lungs will thank you. Visit their website for more information at planetduct.com. Our next sponsor is Recon Marketing. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why Recon Marketing rocks. Their expertise. They know the ins and out of marketing like the back of their hand. They have many of years of experience in doing this, and you can trust them. Free consultations. Not sure if they're a right fit? They offer a free consultation to help you decide. And if that wasn't enough, the co-host of this episode today right now is Marcus Alvarado, who is the founder of Recon Marketing. Custom solutions. Every business is unique, and Recon Marketing tailors their services to meet your specific needs. Results driven. They focus on delivering real measurable results. So connect with them today at reconmarketingservices.com. That's reconmarketingservices.com. So now we're going to dive into this amazing episode. Welcome back
to another episode of the COS Business Podcast. Today we have another very special episode because we have our co-founder, the great, the wonderful Andrew Hazzlee, owner and founder of Vehement Visuals. How you doing today, brother?
Thank you for having me. This is such an honor to be on this show. I've been watching it. I've been a long-time listener.
You have? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you dressed very nice for this episode, too. You got the whole black coat and red.
Yep. I feel it's disrespectful if you wear dress shoes.
Why is that?
Because I think that you're kind of like just trying to show everyone up, and that's just rude.
Oh, I gotcha. Mm-hmm. So you like the whole black shoes. Plus, you're a video guy. You always wearing black anyways.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's actually a videographer's calling, I think. We wear black.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you can't see Edgar, one of these days we'll get a video of Edgar. He's always wearing all black. So.
Oh, I already got a video of him.
Black on black.
Cut to a clip.
Fucking mad shit.
Give me a grape, dude.
There's lemon, there's carrot, and pumpkin.
All right, brother. Well, we have a lot to talk about today, but I want to go a little bit further back before we get into all the fun stuff that's going on with your business. There's a lot of new things since we last talked. I want to talk a little bit about you first coming to Colorado Springs first and foremost. I think it's a kind of a really cool story just because a lot of folks here are transient. A lot of folks from Colorado, or a lot of people living in Colorado Springs are not from Colorado Springs. Mm-hmm. So bring us back a little bit of like when you first came here and a little bit about, what year it was and so on and so forth.
Yeah, definitely. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you can read all about it.
Wow.
Just kidding.
He's in sales
Have
mode.
You subscribed yet?
No.
I know you haven't because I could check and see. But no, one of the first emails in the sequence actually goes into the story. It goes kind of into the story of me deciding to start living out here, and the reason why I decided to stay was because of a mentor of mine. We were up in Breck. That's what the cool kids call it. Breckenridge.
Yeah, gotcha. Mm-hmm. I know the one.
Yeah. And the first time I ever heard of Breckenridge is actually from a Daniel Tosh special. He talks about Luttrell and playing basketball and wondering why skiing's not more of a urban activity.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Cut to a clip.
The Winter Olympics are pointless. I'll say it. Are you kidding me? I assume the only reason we have them is so white people feel relevant in sports. Because other than that, the only thing the Winter Olympics show me is which country has more rich white kids. What's it cost to go skiing? $900 a day? Oh, I can't believe that's not more popular in the inner cities. Hey, Luttrell, you want to play basketball today? No, man, I'm going to Breckenridge. Oh, Lottie Uncle Tom Da. Luttrell's going to Breckenridge.
But yeah, so I had never even really been to Breckenridge, but I knew about it for like 10 years because of that one joke. And I was like, it must be a nice rich town, $600 to go skiing or something like that. It's insane.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and my mentor who was part of like this program that I was involved in for videographers, and we didn't use the V word, which is videographer. We called ourselves video warriors. And I recently posted a friend of mine, Brandon Kirk, who sponsors this show. Cut to a clip. We're gonna cut to. No more work. I'm not gonna. I keep giving myself work. I don't know why.
You're the one that produces and edits the show, by the way. Yeah.
I'm like already 2 hours into editing this in the first 5 minutes. But no, I reposted a memory on Facebook from like 4 years ago, and he mentioning, even calling me a great videographer / video warrior. He actually said that because I was actually emphasizing that as when I would go to networking meetings, I would always emphasize I'm not a videographer. I'm a video warrior, because I wanted to separate myself from just making a pretty video. I want to do that and wanted to do that, always making good quality, high quality videos. But more than just making videos, how can we fight for your business so that you're creating assets that are long lasting and helpful for your business? So fighting for your business, essentially, more than just a videographer, more than just someone who makes videos, but someone who makes videos and helps you grow your business, essentially. And that's actually kind of funny, because that's how I started my business, and I'm coming full circle back. I kind of lost track.
What year was this, by the way?
This was 2019, and that actually, to go back to me coming here, started working on Fort Carson military base.
Gotcha.
And doing constructions, banging out a bunch of gutters, and we called ourselves the Gutter Boys. No,
Wow.
we never did that. But,
Okay.
but I remember I was already studying for my business, and I remember actually my gutter boss. We called him the Gutter Boss.
Who's we? I think it was just you, right?
It's in my phone. If he ever texts me or calls me, it says Jay Gutter Boss.
Oh.
But I remember even being on the field.
Yeah, I guess so.
In the field.
In the field, yeah.
In the field, doing the gutters. And I did one of these video business cards, which I now call a story brand video, for my gutter boss, for not having to pay rent at my house that month.
Wow.
And so that's because me and my brother were renting out his house, actually, in Kansas City. And he owned the house. And so we just stayed there and rented it because he lived in Nebraska. He didn't even live at the house. This whole convoluted story. But... But yeah, so it was for practice too, because I was actually just gonna do it for free, but he ended up not charging me rent. I was living out here anyways for like three months, and we were all out here, the crew was, and so I made that video for him. And I remember on the base I was running ads because we were looking for more employees locally so that we can get shit done faster. Bleep that.
This guy.
And we were looking for more employees. So I ran a Facebook ad that was like kind of I made like some quick videos with my phone of us like on the site and like on at the base, and it was kind of just like, sign up if you want to, have this opportunity for this job.
Sure.
And I remember one person commenting on it saying that they were just thanking us for being such great guys because he was dying of thirsty or dying of water, and we helped him out with like some water or something like that. I don't know. He was
parched.
He was another crew for gutters, so it was actually it's pretty cool that my targeting was pretty good, pretty spot on. Kind of targeting the competition to siphon their. I didn't even mean to do that. I don't think. I think it's just. And this was 2019, so it was before 2021 when the algorithms kind of shifted for Facebook to you kind of want to just do more broad stuff so that the algorithms can figure it out instead of in like very specific targeting. But I was pretty proud of myself for that. So just wanted to go into that story because marketing and stuff, and that's kind of what Vehement Visuals is about. It's more than just video; it's video plus marketing in a way.
So did you do? So when did you start Vehement Visuals? Though, was like right when you're doing? Is that like the inception of it? Was when you're doing the gutter stuff, and you're like, oh, hey, I'm making these videos. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you have experience doing videos back in Kansas City and stuff like that. But when was the inception of Vehement Visuals?
It was February 2019. I know that because I remember drawing the logo for it then.
Wow. So it was before you actually came to Colorado Springs, right?
Yeah, about 6 months before. And I had planned to start this business because I'd been doing YouTube and like learning all the videography stuff. And I wanted to I wanted to be able to make it my career. So I've always been entrepreneurial. Entrepreneurial. We should coin that.
Yeah.
I've always been entrepreneurial, and and I've always started like little businesses here. I was the kid in school selling candy and stuff like that, like my own candy, going to Sam's Club and getting it at a discount so I can actually make a better profit off of it. And so I'd carry around a briefcase selling candy, and I've always been entrepreneurial, starting like record labels and like all this other stuff and burger delivery service. And I was like, within like the first 2 days of me being like, I'm gonna go find a job as a videographer, I realized, why don't I just start my own videography company and do it that way instead of having to find a business. And although that would have been great, a great path.
There's benefits for both, right?
Yeah,
because think about it, like you can learn, you get paid to learn how a no-run business does it versus learning yourself and kind of going through maybe some of those crazy headaches that you might not if you work for somebody, but you're also learning at a much more accelerated level. Yeah, because you're doing everything, right?
And I probably wasn't even looking at it like that then, but I do look at it like that now. It would have been still a good opportunity to try and do it. I did kind of try to pursue that, like got on Indeed, and it was like, or whatever that one, I think it's Indeed, yeah. And I was like, I don't care where it is in the nation, I will find a job and move there. Like that's how bad I wanted to do.
And where were you working then? Like this is back in Kansas
City doing the gutter stuff.
Oh, so you're doing the Kansas City. Okay, so it was in Kansas City where you started doing the gutter stuff.
Yeah,
and you
same
came out here
business.
for a project, same guy. Came out to Fort Carson, you're doing the gutter stuff here, and then you started doing some ads here. And so what was the time when you actually decided to stay here in Colorado Springs? Because you came out here on a job, but you weren't necessarily like looking to move here, right?
Yeah. So that goes back to Kansas City, actually. When I decided to make it my career, that's when I started searching, like on YouTube, like how do you run a videography business? How do you do all this? And then I found that group. And that group was hopefully, like, that was the intention of the group. And it did actually help bypass some of those shortcuts when it comes to running. Cause a lot of the main mentors in that group, they were running like $1 million plus videography businesses, in revenue, and they had the battle tested methods, and they were kind of like, and it was a group of people that were like-minded too, that were trying to learn as well too. So you had your peers that it was almost like going to school for it in a way, and learning from the people and learning from their mistakes and seeing the opportunity. Because when I started the videography, when I decided to want to do videography as a business, I wasn't even thinking the numbers that they were saying. They were like, deal closed, $20,000, deal closed. Like even $5,000 was crazy, because I was like, I'm gonna charge a few $100s, make like all I need to do is make like a couple thousand a month and I'm good,
Yeah.
And so it's like just seeing this group of all these people like showing their wins, and also there was part of the group, it was mandatory that if you said hashtag deal closed, you had to go in how you got the deal, what the process was, and like what the deliverables are. Like it was kind of, we were all just being very transparent with our businesses in that group. And so that group, it was global. Like there was a few thousand people in there. It wasn't like a crap ton, but there was a decent amount of people who wanted to take it as the career and make that their career. And there was also people in the group who were already doing that, closing big deals, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. It just lit a fire in me. And so I joined that group a couple months, like a month after like wanting to start my videography business. And then I decided, like the group is a funnel essentially for this product that they had for this course. And if you like look at it, like the big scheme of everything, there was like a 3-month sales cycle for them. If you think about it, going into sales, I love sales as well too. Sales, marketing, video, all of that stuff. I love it. And so it's like I was in the group for like a few months, like just trying to absorb as much as I could before I decided I'm going to do this course that they have, which was $2,000, and it was $1,000 payment up front, and then 30 days later, $1,000. And I had never spent money on myself like that ever, like nothing like that. I don't even think, like, I guess paying rent maybe.
Yeah.
But never outside of paying my own rent, like where I was, spending that much money on
it's a huge
one
investment,
thing, on something that's like not even like tangible, like it's a digital product. And so I literally the day before I came out to Colorado Springs, I decided to pull the trigger. Well, it was a few days before, I think, actually. I pulled the trigger on buying the course. And I bought it on a credit card. because I didn't have $1,000, and I didn't even know I could get a credit card that could have more than that on it. Actually, to be honest, because I never had a credit card before then either. I was 27 and never had a credit card before. Some
Wow.
people would say that's good. Some people say that's bad.
Yeah.
but Acre's 27, probably.
28.
No, he's 28 now.
Yeah.
29. Looking
He's pushing
good.
30. He's doing good.
Okay, I have ADHD too, so that's people
Yeah.
listeners gonna have to deal with
I
it.
think they know that by now a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
For sure.
At least the recurring visitors.
It's crazy though to think about, you pulled the trigger on this and then a few days later you were here in Colorado Springs. And
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what captured your attention here in the Springs? I mean, obviously you were doing the video stuff here, but like what was the major draw to stay here?
Well, I wasn't even supposed to come out here. The person who was supposed to, I was supposed to like do like a supervisor role in Kansas City, so that way I could work on my business. Because supervisor meant everyone else does the gutter work, and you just go and check and make sure it's right, and that would give me time to work on my business. I was supposed to do that, but one of the crew members here, they weren't allowed on the base when they thought they were because they had warrants or something like that, or some kind of thing where they just weren't allowed on the base. So they needed me out here, and I was like, okay, it'll give me time to stack money and study this course and try to learn how to do all this stuff. And I went to one chamber meeting in Kansas City before that, and I hadn't bought the course yet. It was at a pickleball place, actually. I remember it was pickleball was pretty new.
Yeah. Early days.
Oh yeah, and so that. I came out here, and I was when it was too windy to do hang gutters, or when like we had a day off, or any time outside of base hours when we were allowed to work, I would just try to network, try to find meetups. I would go to meetup.com, the Meetup app, which is pretty cool. If you're getting into networking, starting your business, check out Meetup, because you'll find networking places that you would never even have been. You would just never know about them without that. And also searching Facebook groups and all that stuff if you're trying to go out and network. But outside of working on the base, I would spend all my after hours studying the course and trying to find after hour networking events. And that's when I was building my network up, getting to know people while working on the base for like 2 or 3 months. So I was already like, I met Brandon Kirk there while I was still working on the base. I remember he actually called my phone while I was on a roof on one of the barracks. And because I was waiting for, because I was like, oh, he seems interested. He was a warm and engaged lead is a way to say it, but also has become a good friend of mine, I would say.
Yeah.
And so there was a couple projects that one of my mentors, one of the guys who started the Video Warrior group, he was out here. He was doing this thing called the Immersion Tour, where he was going across the nation and like creating video business cards for video business owners who wanted to start that. And he would travel to them in his Tesla that he just got. I remember that because there was just a little detail of it, and I like Teslas.
Yeah.
But he was just traveling around, and he was in Denver, and he needed help. He needed someone like a second shooter. And so it was a great opportunity for me to learn how to even create these assets, these video business cards, and like straight from the master. He trademarked the term video business card. Like he's the literal creator of video business card.
Wow.
But the video business card, if you haven't heard, is just like a video sales letter, which in ClickFunnels is what they call their video business card. And I think he learned it from the ClickFunnels things actually, but he trademarked the term video business card. And so it's a great opportunity to learn from one of the masters. There was 2 French guys actually that we were doing the video for. I remember that because they had an accent. We went out to the Rhino District. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Or was the restaurant called Rhinos? I don't remember. Probably Rhino District. Yeah. It was Balenciaga or something like that, or Balencios. It was a French restaurant. Or a Spanish restaurant.
I was gonna say French people at a French restaurant too.
Yeah. Crazy. But I remember we went after we filmed, because I was just doing this to learn. After we filmed, we went to this nice restaurant. I had never been to a nice restaurant like that before. I remember I never heard of, like, you don't order a meal. Everyone orders one thing and then they bring it out one at a time. I never had heard of that.
4-course meal or whatever. Yeah.
And it was just really cool. And just that was definitely worth just doing that for free. On top of learning, that was worth it already. So I learned that, but then he came out here again because he was meeting with another Video Warrior guy in Breckenridge, and so that's where I got to have like a 3-hour like session with him, because we were chilling in a hot tub at this like cabin, and I got to just like learn, like pick his brain for like 3 hours, and just just trying to, and because I paid for the course, he felt like he wanted to provide the value for me, and like it lined up where we were able to meet, and he was down to do that, and that was pretty awesome of him to be down to do that, because that wasn't part of the course at all.
Right.
Like, there was no in-person mentoring. Like, that wasn't what I was paying for, but I got it. And so that was pretty cool. And so during that 3-hour like kind of hot tub session, he was like, I was telling him how much I loved Colorado Springs and how much I loved the city and how much I just loved it. And he's like, well, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it? He didn't say that, but essentially he said, why don't you stay?
Well, it's quite the statement for something he didn't say. Yeah.
It's essentially what he said, because he said, hey, if you like it here so much, why don't you just do a 30-day sink or swim challenge? And I was like, you're smart. That's why you're the mentor. And this is crazy. Like, mentors are so, they come in any shape and sizes, meaning that like this guy was 24 and I was 27 at the time. So he was younger than me teaching me. And I think that's a good lesson to take away from this, is because just because someone is younger than you doesn't mean you can't learn from them. That doesn't mean they haven't done 10 times more than what you've done, you know? And so, yeah, don't dismiss young people just because they're young. They may be stupid because they're young, but they're also smart for other reasons. Yeah, but I say that because this mentor did something stupid shortly after that, but he still had like a lot of credibility.
People are very human still, right?
Yeah, people are very human. People make mistakes, you know, and yeah, and I don't hold him against. I don't hold anything against that. I don't hold him against me.
Except for in the hot tub.
In the hot tub.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that night very well, and it was a fun, it was a very insightful time, and that was why I decided to do that. So as soon as we were done with the military base, which was coming up soon after that little hot tub session, it was September 9th. I remember the day exactly. I booked an Airbnb in Pueblo for 10 days. And I remember sitting in the Pueblo Park cold calling like just businesses, and like I remember recording that and then posting it in the group, and it was like it got like lots of views because everyone thought it was so valuable to someone's going to expose, like, be so vulnerable, because cold calls suck.
Yeah.
I hate cold calls. But yeah, I haven't done cold calls since that day, actually.
Yeah, it's one of those
But I remember
things.
I was like, crap, because not only did I not have that much money, I thought I was going to get a whole nother check from the base, and we didn't even end up getting that check. And so I thought I had another, there's like $600 check or something like that. I mean, not even that much, but I still, I had like nothing. And I was like, I have to make this work. Well, and a few days after that, I closed a deal with Brandon. And that allowed me that proved to me that I can make this work. Because it was a $2,500 deal, and that was the first deal I ever closed. And I was like, oh, I'm coming out the gate swinging, you know? And I was like, this is awesome. I actually made it work. Like, that's what I was aiming for. And then it had been many months before I was able to hit that number again, because as soon as you hit no's, it gets harder and harder, and like your confidence, like that's why you got to watch out. That's why you got to qualify, because if you're not qualifying, you're going to run into a lot more no's, and that's going to mess up your confidence. And it's going to and that confidence is everything, because you have to be confident when you're selling. You know, like if you're not, you're just gonna like whittle your prices down more and more and more. And that's eventually what did happen. It happened a lot of times. And I was doing this gig over here, doing this gig over here, just not getting in front of the right buyers, essentially, the right prospects, the right target audience. But yeah, I remember I closed that deal, and that was pretty exciting. And that allowed me to say, hey, this works. Because that was within the first week of me going full time, you know, paying for Airbnbs that I had no money for. And then I realized I have a credit card. So I was also spending money on a credit card as well. And like just a little bit of money. And I paid that off within like a year or two. All that was paid off, but then I accumulated more credit card debt in other places. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so that's kind of why I came out here and why I decided to stay. And so within that first week, I remember being in Pueblo for 10 days and then being out here for a couple days. I was doing a documentary for Frank Sinclair. We were going downtown, past the meters,
Good inside joke there.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah.
And we were downtown. I had already filmed this, and I remember I was sitting in my Airbnb on the side of the bed with my desktop computer, like just on a dresser, and just on the side of the bed trying to edit this thing, because I was just like, trying to get it done so that I had some proof of concepts and
Right.
some I'm doing things out here. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Like doing that project for Frank Sinclair, I actually think helped me close the deal with Brandon, because it was a video called Faces of Homeless. Pop up a link.
Right behind me is the old motel that I was living at when I came here right before my homeless days. So I wanted to take you guys on a little bit of a tour of my life and my introduction to Colorado Springs this morning. So thanks for joining, because we're going to continue this journey downtown.
Grew up on the streets here, and moved to Cali in New York, did a lot of street stuff, and but I came back 14 years old, built half this town, did a lot of time here. I screwed up, made some mistakes, then got 15 kids, all which dead, but 4 of them.
Faces of Homelessness, and I was doing that one for free, actually, and I was just trying to get my name out there and trying to get like, hey, this is the work that I can do. And I remember being at a networking event because Frank was showing everyone it, and Frank's this is why you got to teach your clients how to use the video assets. And I learned, just because even if you're doing it just for free, because Frank, for the longest time, he was sharing the Google Drive link instead of like posting it and then sharing that. And so like that Google Drive link actually maxed out, and they wouldn't send it to no more people. And Frank was like, hey, why is this happening? And I was like, it's because you weren't supposed to send people that link. It's kind of funny. And then I just learned how to, just got to educate the clients. Not everyone knows or even wants to know how to do all that stuff.
Right.
He just knows it's a video, and like he knows how he watched it, and that's how other people can watch it. So yeah, I remember going to a networking event, Power Connectors, every third Tuesday at the Alexander Public House. They're still doing it, and I remember just people coming up to me like complimenting my work on that video. It felt really good, and like that was pretty awesome. And so yeah, closed that deal. Moved like Airbnbs like every week for like a month or two, until I realized this is messing with my mental health. Having to uproot everything and then go to a new stranger's place, because I was renting out rooms. I wasn't renting out full Airbnbs. So there's other people coming in and out. And so it's like just having to uproot and then find a new location, like pack everything in my car and then move to the next place. It was causing lots of stress and making it hard to, manage. And so I was like, I got to start booking these out for a month. And then I found one where I booked out for a month over kind of by your house. That's why every time I drive by, I was like, I lived here for a month. Or I say I lived here before, because I did for an entire month with Marsha.
Yeah.
And I remember I watched the Chris D'Elia special in that place. Anyways.
That's crazy though, because if you're thinking about it, like everything you did was a risk. I mean, you came out here like, and you're doing a job, and then you're starting to do video, and then you're performing video for free, and then you're going to these networking thing, and you're just like putting yourself out there over and over and over and over again. And I think a lot of times when you're first starting in the entrepreneurial world, and you've been doing it already for a few years, but like one of the scariest things is just putting yourself out there without like that validate. It's like that confirmation bias of yourself of what you're doing. And for whatever reason, you kept doing it no matter what. And I feel like there's a level of fearlessness, but also just a level of courage to do that.
A little bit of insanity too, I think. Every entrepreneur has to be a little bit crazy.
So what was that? What was that drive to like? I mean, literally like all the odds against you, and then like come out here, and not only like come out here like with essentially nothing, but like have money fall through, and then like be place to place and be uproot, like you said, like every week, and like still have the drive to keep pushing forward, keep driving towards your goals and creating this business. I think it's super inspiring. But like, what was that drive? Where does that come from?
Hanging gutters really sucks. It does. It's hard work. I mean, some people like it, but it was just every day of having to do that. Like I did it for almost a year. Every single day was just a day that I knew that I needed to do something else. And that just the pressure of that building up, and also wanting to make videography my career, and also wanting to be successful, like wanting, and success is defined in many very, very different ways, but success for me defined at that moment was running a business that made more money than I was currently making, and not having to do gutters, because you're standing in the sun, like 90 degrees, you're on a roof, and you're risking your life in a lot of ways, because we didn't use harnesses. We had to on the military base, but at home on residential, we didn't use harnesses at all, because it slows you down, and we were paid by the foot. So if you can get more feet out, you can get more money. And so harnesses means like you have these little hooks that you drill onto the top of the roof, and then you have a little thing and you hook yourself on it, and you're good. If you fall, you might, you won't, it'll be less harmful than if you fell without that harness. And we didn't use harnesses, so we would be on the edge of a house, like not hundreds of feet, but like lots of feet.
Enough to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. On the edge of the house, like I almost want to do it because you're like a gargoyle almost on the edge of the house, and you're banging these things out. And well, if you're fast, you bang it out, and you're like, if you're like Carlton, he's super fast.
Your brother Carlton.
Yeah, my brother Carlton.
Yeah.
If you shout out to Carlton, he's probably watching this.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. You already liked and you already subscribed. I already know it. And you commented probably too. All right.
Good brother.
Yeah. And yeah, you can bang it from the top of the roof and bang, because you have to, like, they're usually like these long nails. Or they're screws, so you gotta lean over the edge and screw.
That's crazy.
Screw. And if you're not on top of the roof hanging over doing that, you're on a ladder, like a 40-foot ladder, and then you have to go up the ladder, and like you have to unscrew these screws, you have to go all the way down, move the ladder if you're too scared to hang off the roof, move the 40-foot ladder, which is heavy, like very heavy, and then move it over like 6 feet, and then screw, and then move it over 6 feet, and that's just...
So that was an alternative option to like anything else. You're like...
It sucked doing that. And then I also was just wanting to make videography in my career, and I've always wanted to have a successful business. And so this is why success is a funny thing, because we all get in our own heads when we're in the current moment. And if I looked back to 2019, I would consider myself very successful right now. But then, like, I think I in the current moment, I'm thinking I have all this stuff to worry about. I got this to worry about. Oh my God, what's up with this? What's up with that? And airplane peanuts.
They say for every level there's another devil. That's kind of like a whole other thing of saying it, but it's the truth, right? Like no matter, like when you elevate, like you actually get more problems, probably. Mm-hmm. More money, more problems.
Yeah. Why'd you laugh, Edgar? Okay, I said, oh yeah. We got an in studio audience, and his name is Edgar.
And Danielle from another room.
Danielle's
She's
in the other
listening
room.
a little bit. Yeah, it's so true. Well, on my initial episode with you, I was talking about like the moment in which I threw my first event. It was my own money, and like driving there like 4 a.m. to like my very first festival, and I'm like, well, there's no going back. Like,
yeah,
that was it. And I was like, at the time, this is when we did this like 2.5 years ago, my first episode with you. I was talking about like there's no other feeling than that moment, and then I just realized when you were telling me your story, it's like it's just a full send moment.
Yeah,
it really is. Like that's what you've done multiple times. So you've had that feeling before of like putting the credit card, $1,000 credit card, ring it up, and it's like, oh, no going back now. I mean,
and 30 days later, $1,000 again on it.
Right, or like the Airbnbs, or like whatever you were doing. Like you're always full sending it, which is crazy to you had that moment, and there's something to be said about that. I don't know, like it's. Like I said, peak in anxiety, but your excitement level is just like a little bit higher. Just like the weirdest feeling. And you can only do that when you're doing something that you're afraid to do, but you do it anyways, right?
Yeah, that you believe in, that you have to have a bigger vision for that. And also being in Colorado Springs, it was a new city for me. So imagine like, when you went to Rome earlier this year, if you decided to stay and then start a business. Yeah. I mean, obviously, different culture. They don't even probably have like a Fazoli's, but I don't know. Probably not a Fazoli's. Yeah. But yeah. So it's like different culture. Obviously, a lot of we're still almost Midwest. It's probably actually still is probably considered Midwest. Is it? I don't know. Or is it considered far west? I don't know. Wild West. But yeah, it's very, very, very close culture. So that's a little different than going to Rome and starting, but it was still brand new. And like when you're brand new to something, you recognize things in your own culture that you wouldn't see otherwise. Like skinny jeans or I don't know.
You saw skinny jeans more in Colorado than Kansas City?
There was just small little things like that. Like like painted on eyebrows. I saw that out here more than I did in Kansas City, but I don't know if that was just lack of life experience, you know. I don't know if I just noticed it more out here, and then like the frequency bias happened, so I started seeing it more.
What about colored hair?
Pueblo, probably. That's all the painting on.
So when we first moved here, my folks always just said, "Why has everybody got colored hair here?" Like that was the big thing.
Okay.
Here. Like
when you first moved here.
Yeah, well, I moved here a couple times, but like my folks always made fun of it because we lived in California and we lived in New York. They don't have colored hair. Like that's not like a normal thing. Like in Colorado Springs is more, or Colorado in general, it's more of a predominant
I thought it was more
thing.
of a late millennial, early Gen Z thing.
It's kind of both.
Yeah.
It's kind of both. It is definitely like millennial and younger generation, but it's also like in Colorado, like it was like when they first moved here, they didn't see a lot of people piercings and tattoos.
Oh,
and colored hair. Like that was more of like a Colorado, like every guy kind of thing here in Colorado. That was
like if you go to LA, you notice the people with more flat brim hats.
Yeah,
things like that. You know there's that like culture that like tatted sleeves and then flat brim hats. Like that's a very LA thing. Like, even though it's everywhere, but it's like you see that more in LA. You know.
Well, what's known for Colorado? The man bun, like
paint on eyebrows.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true.
The Denver Nuggets.
Yeah. Denver Nuggets for sure. Man. Well, it's such an inspiring story, and I thought it's important for our audience to see like the progression of what it's been and who you are now, because it's important. People are looking up to you in the moment of like where you were in 2019, and they're not realizing like your story, how you got to where you are now, because people see you as a role model in this community, and I've always thought it was one of the coolest stories. You know, just coming here with little to no money and not even coming here originally to move here, but you just stayed here, like you said, and it's crazy because every which turn there was a huge risk, and you just didn't care. I mean, you probably cared, but you might have cared, but the moment of like blind fate for sure, and it's very inspiring for people. Let's talk about more now about modern things, because I know there's some new things that you have coming out. Vehement Visuals is in year 4 or 5 at this point. 4 or 5? 5. Gosh, 5 and then the top of next year, right?
4 years, but yeah. 5.
February 2019, you said, right?
That would be the technical filed for business date is August 2019.
Okay.
So, but you know, I started it before then, so yeah.
Dang, that's so crazy. Well, it's been through a lot of different renditions, and now you've kind of made a pivot, right, with it. Talk a little bit more about that now. And this is like essentially like the last quarter of this year is when you really started deploying it, right?
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's full circle. Like I said at the beginning of the conversation, it's kind of full circle to what I was doing with the Video Warrior stuff, except now I know how to craft an offer better thanks to $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. It's a great book. If you haven't heard about it, check it out. If you don't know what to do with business, start there. Like if you're just thinking about starting a business and you have nowhere to start, just read that book 6 times. And also read the PDF while you're listening to it. Also, after every chapter, there's a free course that he has on his website, acquisition.com/leads or /offers /training or something, whatever it is. I'll put the link. But yeah, I would say if you don't know what to do when you're starting your business, that is a great place to start, because he breaks down everything. Everything that I learned, everything that I paid for in that $2,000 course is in $100 million leads and $100 million offers, except way more.
Unbelievable. Like it helps entertain all stacks of entrepreneurs, from like startup, like entrepreneur, solopreneur, all the way through like very advanced
scaling to 10 million, you know, all the way to scaling to 10 million. Yeah, it's an amazing resource that I think everyone should utilize if they're looking to start a business. But where were we at with that? Why did I bring that up?
Because we're talking about the new branding and new pivoting of Vehement Visuals.
Oh yeah. So I basically I've learned how to craft my offer a little bit better and make it more appealing, but also have a higher level of service when it comes to what I do. So it's not just creating that video business card, which I call a story brand video now, because it emphasizes the story of your business, and it's about branding and like taking your brand and turning it into a video sales tool essentially. But not only that, like on top of that, you also get clips for social media. You also get a video success guide. So a step-by-step guide that will take you through what you need to do to make sure you're checking off everything that you're learning that everything that not you're learning, but everything you need to do so that your video assets are implemented correctly, so that they're put in a way that they're generating the leads that you need, like warming the leads in a way too. That's why I think the best thing about the video business card is the strategy when it comes to warming the leads. Like, say you have someone come in that is kind of interested in video, you send them this, or not video, that's me, interested in whatever service you offer.
Right.
If you have a video that helps capture their hearts, but also explains to them what they need to do to take action, also what makes you different, also what you're about and what your service actually is on a logical side, not just the storytelling emotional side. That's kind of, you want to make sure you're utilizing this asset in the best way possible. So we have a step-by-step guide that you also get with this service that helps hold you accountable for utilizing this asset and not just taking this video and then not doing anything with it, keeping it on a Google Drive maybe. And, so you don't want to do that, that's for sure. But, yeah, so there's the success guide, but then there's also the post-launch consultation. So 30 days after we finish everything, we're going to follow up with you to make sure that you're see how things went with the first 30 days of launching this asset, and then maybe potentially see, are there any things that we can improve or make better? And so that's essentially what the brand story accelerator package is in a nutshell.
Unbelievable. Well, the cool thing about you too is that, I mean, you've never been defined as a videographer in my eyes, because you have, like you said before, you have the sales and you have the marketing side of you as well. And so for like a lot of people out there, a lot of business owners, they just think of a video as a video. Like we've run through those, even in my agency, I run through that kind of thing all day long. Is people, they want these things, but they don't know exactly why they want it. Or they just want something cool or updated or flashy or whatever, but it's like, okay, so what's the purpose of having a flashy video that's $5,000?
Yeah.
Oh, I just want, you got to invoke like what they're truly trying to get out of the video too.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have that because you have the marketing hat on you all times, right?
Yeah, we want to make sure that these assets are getting results. So we're optimizing it in a way where they can get the most results. That's why you not only get the clips that come with it, like you get the full asset, which is like 2 to 3 minute video, but then you get the clips that come with it, which are little snippets that are built out of it. But you get more than just snippets out of it. We're going to pre-plan beforehand so that we're making advertisement videos as well on top of that too. And then also, I forgot, I've added this into the package as well too. We're doing photography on top of that. So
wow.
so you're getting, because I realized I want to provide something that people can buy this brand accelerator package and have every marketing asset they need, like when it comes to photos, videos, and maybe even copy too. I don't want to go down that far yet, but yeah. So just guiding you and holding you accountable to make sure you're implementing these things correctly. So someone's strategy may be different than someone else's strategy. Like maybe someone wants to run ads, so we'll tailor towards that. Maybe someone wants to just use it as a defense thing, or as something that when people come to them, they can utilize this asset to help them close deals better. Like, because the coolest thing about video is people can get to know you before ever even meeting you. Like, it automates your sales process in that aspect. People are leads whether you know them or not. They just have to know you. And that's actually, Alex Ramosi talks about that in his book.
What's defined as a lead, right?
Yeah. And so in a way to engage them is by having a video that allows them to get to know you a little bit, get to know your service, your business a little bit better, so that way when you're on a sales call with them, that they kind of have a good idea of who you are before you even get in a meeting with them. It can save time that way as well too, because people may realize, oh, I wasn't even trying to get my drains cleaned. I was trying to get a pizza. Just kidding. That's probably not what you were doing, but but yeah, like maybe someone like is an HVAC company and they're selling heat pumps, and that's the main thing they want to sell. So you can focus on that aspect, because the heat pumps is probably one of the biggest lever points for a person in HVAC. It's way more than just, going and repairing something goes wrong in your house, like the thermostat, and like these small little calls. If you're focusing on selling heat pumps or like upgraded heat pumps, that make your systems better, like you can create a strategy behind that with the brand story video, because maybe that's what you want to pivot in with your business, and you want to just focus on those things. So yeah.
Oh, it's so true. And it's not only like everybody out there, I don't care what brand they are, can use more video. I don't care what brand it is. Literally everybody.
Yeah.
Because you're right. There's so many different parts of like the process of like building video, but there's also like internal uses, right? Too.
Mm-hmm.
Training, tutorials, all that stuff internally. Like any
That's what we did
business.
with Brandon.
Exactly,
the first videos,
right?
We did training videos, and it wasn't even a story brand video. Yeah,
And it saves a lot of money on the automation side rather than having like a trainer inside internally who, has to get paid a big salary to train people. You can have that, but maybe you can have them part-time and you can have the video supplement what he would normally do. There's so much automation that can be done with just video. It's insane to me. And so like people have to, I think a lot of your job is also like educating people on like what they think a video is and what it can provide them as far as value is concerned, because there's so much value in video, right?
Yeah, and it can be hard to educate people on that, and that's why I think I struggled for a few years doing this, is because like I was talking about the confidence thing, like you get people who don't understand the value that you're bringing, and so it makes you feel like you can't charge what you want to charge, essentially. And so it can be a struggle, because they're like, well, my cousin does video. Well, then go hire your cousin, like my nephew just started doing video, well, then go hire them, because I'm not trying to deal with that anymore. I'm done. That's part of the pivot too right now, is me talking to the right people. And I think that's important for everyone's business, because I want to make sure that I'm talking to people who see the value in what I can bring, and people who are willing and ready to invest, essentially.
Oh, gosh.
I don't want to have to educate someone. I don't want to have to educate someone on why video is important. I want people to understand that first. And maybe that's part of top of the funnel stuff. Like maybe some of my advertisements are educating people on why video is important. And I'm kind of working on that a little bit too. So that's the top of the funnel. And these I want to talk about marketing as well too, because I've been learning
so what's a funnel? Tell people what a funnel is.
A funnel is how you put gasoline in your car.
No.
Oil.
What's it?
Oil.
And oil in your car too. You're right. Not gasoline.
Yeah, don't listen to him for any advice regarding automotive.
You don't put
servicing.
BBs in the tank?
No.
Oh, so you can, when you turn, you can hear them slide around.
So what? Yeah. So what is a marketing funnel? What you're saying, or sales funnel?
A marketing funnel is, so basically there's people at different levels of intent in the sales process. Why are you fucking laughing? All right.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. My dad just died. We just killed Bambi. I'm out here getting my ass kicked, and every time I drive down the road, I want to jerk the wheel into a goddamn bridge embankment.
Take two.
Take two, yes.
It's good now.
No, it's good. I actually think like
This is good.
we can edit stuff, and that's why we can edit, because we can cut things like that out. Like in Brandy's episode, I don't know if you noticed, but I edited the part out in the beginning where I messed up her name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edit it out.
It did.
I am? Okay.
It worked.
Okay. I've been playing with my hair enough to just do it automatically. All right, edit that in. I'm just kidding.
I'll serve you back up. So what's a marketing funnel?
So a marketing funnel is people at different levels of buying. Like, it's the buying journey, essentially, of someone who gets introduced to your brand. There's the brand awareness part where people are learning about who you are, meaning that these people at the top of the funnel aren't probably going to buy anything yet. Though they can go straight down to the bottom. It depends on the process. So you want to make sure that you're crafting advertisements that target people at that level. So you don't want to create an advertisement that is for the bottom of the funnel, that say the bottom of the funnel is people that are ready to buy, and they understand the value, and all you have to do is just close them. All you have to do is just collect credit card information, essentially.
Right.
Like, they're pretty much ready to buy at that point. At the top of the funnel, they're not ready to buy, but they may show some kind of interest.
Correct.
And so you want to craft advertisements specifically for that. So say you have an advertisement that is a bottom of the funnel advertisement, which kind of brings in those people as leads, like you get their contact information, like all that stuff. That would be a bottom of the funnel kind of activity. But the top of the funnel is kind of just educating people, like, okay, this is how you craft a good video, kind of explaining, like, or, just kind of getting your name out there. It could be a billboard, like yeah, so
It
that's
could be
kind
like
of,
video warriors and how they got you into like the closed
oh
Facebook
yeah,
group.
yeah.
right?
They had there was a whole funnel right there. So actually, I love breaking down the sales process of the video warriors thing because it's an actual journey that I went through and I saw work. So start of the buyer's journey for me of spending $2,000 on this course. It was a 3-month cycle. I searched in YouTube, how do you start a video production business? Or how do you be a videographer? I didn't even look at it as a video production business at that point, I don't think.
Yeah.
But so how to make money as a videographer, one of those terms, whatever I looked for, like how do you be a videographer essentially. So Googled that in, and then I found a YouTube video. It was the Video Warrior YouTube video after probably searching through a bunch of videos. And then they provided the value that I needed he had a call to action at the end of that video, which was in the description, is my sales book, like is my ebook, which is like a 10 to 20 page ebook, which was basically taught you how to run a sales meeting. So this was like, okay, future pacing, qualifying, showing the value and then closing the deal, like it took you through all that process. And so I watched that video, I clicked the link, read the entire book front to back. I remember I connected with it because, and this is why it's so cool, why you want to talk about small little nuances about yourself, is because people, you never know who might see that as, oh, this is the reason why I like this person. He said in high school, he used to spend all his time playing Diablo 2 and doing nothing else. And I did that. So it's just a small little thing, like he didn't have to throw that in, but he did. And because he did, I remembered that. And like that made it even more likely. Just a small little thing. It's not what closed the deal, but it was something that I think was an important piece. He had a couple of things like that in there actually. That just like, I was obviously his target audience. Yeah. He knew who his target audience was. And videographers often are named Andrew too. So I just noticed that a lot. I see a lot of videographers named Andrew. It's weird. You're not Andrew.
Well, like the qualifying one is like a really big sales process too. Cause like if you're saying like, you seem like a really motivated guy that's really willing to do whatever it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
By the way, people who are like that buy this whatever, right? So it's kind of, you qualifies and you're like, yeah, I am this great, amazing person. You're like, well, that great, amazing person also would take the Video Warrior course or whatever it might be, right?
This is the sales process. So at the end of the ebook, this is a cool part about the sales funnel that they had. So first YouTube video, in the description, ebook, PDF, how to close deals at higher rates. I think that's what it was. How to sell videos at higher rates. At the end of the ebook, we actually have this amazing Facebook group. Click this link to join the Facebook group, and then you join the Facebook group, and it had like 3 questions so qualifying even more. Right. To even join the group, you had to answer 3 different questions to show that you're serious. And the group, I think, only had like 2,000 or 3,000. Now that I actually remember, I think I said it was a few thousand, but I think I remember it was like only like 2,000, 3,000 people, which isn't very much, but it's a lot too. At the same time, when all of them are video people, like who want to start a video business, or actually the Facebook group was how to close deals at higher rates. Not the ebook. So that was the Facebook group. And I found that at the bottom of the ebook, at the bottom of the YouTube page. And then once I was in that Facebook group, that's all he really needed, because when I was in there, I would be engaging into things, because you also introduce yourself when you first join the Facebook group. There's a whole strategy behind Facebook groups. Like it can be very lucrative if you're willing to put in the work, but that's a lot of, like, if you imagine that was one video. He put together an ebook. He put in a lot of work to make this thing happen. And 2,000 people, $2,000, only like 10, even if 10% of them convert, that's not even that big of a business, Right. Like, it's like, wow, okay. He's putting in a lot of work, because he was also active in the Facebook group, engaging on every post. Marcus Rideout, actually. His name's Marcus. And I remember he was 31 at the time. And I'm 31 now. It's like, wow, that's cool. But yeah, he was very engaged in the group, and I would every Wednesday they had like a live call, and like he would break down the sales process even more. He would talk about his story, like going into that, and then so I guess you could say YouTube video, I was top of funnel. By the time I'm in the Facebook group, I'm basically at the bottom of the funnel, I'm pretty sure, but it still took a couple months of me being in the group, seeing all these things, and like, oh, all these other people are doing exactly what I want to do, and this course helped them get there, and that was the thing. So in the video in the group was the video or was the course. And so yeah, and that's kind of after a couple months of just taking in all the free info I could get, because they would do these live trainings all the time with other members, talk to them. And so basically, yeah, that's kind of how I converted from top to bottom of the funnel. And it can mean anything essentially, because every funnel is different, like what the cool thing about what I'm learning with Facebook ads right now specifically is it's not Google. You don't want to treat it like Google. You don't want to treat it like anything else, because Facebook is very specific because of the amount of user data that they have is so intense. And also the way the algorithms are now, you want to create an ad essentially that has all the assets it needs for Facebook to work out who to show it to on what part of the funnel. You don't even have to think about that really anymore when it comes to Facebook ads. You got to know about it. I think it's good to understand that. But when you create an ad that has, like, say it has 3 creatives, 2 primary texts, 2 headlines, it will mesh those together. And like you want to make, like if you do the dynamic creative, it will mesh those together and show them to the right people at the right time in their buyer's journey. So you may see, one variation of this ad isn't, it says it has a lot of clicks, but they're not showing it to anyone. That actually indicates that it's at a lower form or a lower, they're showing it to people at the lower part of the funnel. And you want to make sure that your top of the funnel ones are feeding the lower ones. And it's just, this is really fun stuff that I've been learning a lot lately when it comes to Facebook ads. Because I really dove deep into Facebook ads in 2021, right before they changed everything. And that was kind of where I stopped learning, because I stopped doing it. And so I spent like hours and hours and hours of time to educate myself on it at that point. But now it's 2023 and we're in a whole different world, especially with AI and everything. Facebook's always been a very smart thing, utilizing AI.
It's the most robust of all the platforms.
Yeah, it has the most data, like the most specific
that's why,
data.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's the most robust. So it has so many different types of behaviors of folks. And like 3 years ago, people thought that Facebook was dying, and I never ever thought that. And like I would say the past 6 months, it's rolled out like more things than it's ever probably rolled out ever.
Like advertisers thought it was dying?
No.
Or just everyone thought it was dying?
Yeah, just people just doing social media management, things of that nature. But no, it's rolled out so much. Like I don't know if you looked at too much of like the Meta Business Suite or anything like that, but like we obviously work together, so we're working hand in hand with a lot of these things. But like if you are building a business, like do not forget Facebook whatsoever. It is out there, and like Andrew said, it's very robust with people's users' behavior. There's so much going on with it right now, and don't miss the boat with it, because he was even talking about closed Facebook groups. That's still a pop-in thing, like huge. It's huge.
It is.
And you did this thing 4 years ago, right? So,
and it was, people probably thought they were getting in on it late then.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy seeing the evolution of that. But anything else going on with Vehement Visuals? You've been working on this for like, a couple months now, just making sure and peeling back the layers of like what you're going to do next with the business. And now you're kind of full on it, which is so cool to see. Is there anything else on the horizon for Vehement Visuals?
Yeah, so I'm saying no to everything else but this brand accelerator package. It's hard to do because I've already said yes to a few things since I've been saying no.
Oh. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But it's cool because it puts me in a better position, because when I say no to these things, I can confidently be like, I don't need this, it helps me come off more confident, I think. So that way, like, even if I am doing something that would have been a no, I'm charging more, but people are still saying yes because they want to work with me, and that's awesome. So yeah, there is that aspect of it, and I'm not charging more to tax people. I just don't want to do those other things.
Yeah, well, your value's gone up a lot. You've earned your right to charge more. You definitely have.
I also charge more if you book before 10 a.m.
No. Oh my gosh, this guy.
Yeah, and it's just because how I roll. But yeah, I say that because I literally just charge someone more because of that.
I have a story why I charge more in general. I worked at a company where I had over 100 clients, and I had to constantly feed the big whales of my book of clients over the ones who would perhaps give me everything they have, but could only afford a couple $100 a month. But if I lost the big one, that would be the biggest pay cut for me, or it could be detrimental to other people in my agency that I worked for. And I don't want to play that game anymore. Like when I opened Recon, I wanted to have a select group of clients I wanted to work with. And like if I had a thought at 3 a.m., I want to be able to like have the individualism of my clients to be like, oh man, I was just thinking about this at 3 a.m. When you had 100 clients like that to one person, you weren't able to do that. You were just trying to stay alive. And so like for me, I always worked on the premise with Recon of I want to work with established businesses who've done marketing before, who have established business with recurring revenue, who understand that marketing is testing. Like they are one and the same. And marketing, in fact, is testing and then making informed decisions based off of data. That's what marketing really is. And so when I made that change, I had to say a lot of no's too. But when I finally, I got a lot of no's too. But once I was able to get those bigger clients, oh my gosh, so much better. So much more individualism behind their account because I'm able to like think about it all day long as opposed to like manage 15 other clients, right?
You can provide that extra value. You can focus on them more, and you don't have to be worried about being stressed, because when you're closing those lower paying clients, you're not only spreading out your attention, like you said, but you're also making less money. And that affects you. If you can't pay your bills, you know, you're going to be, if you're stressed about your bills, how are you going to provide the best service for your clients, you know? And that's just how that's just the game of life, you know? Like that's just how life is, you know?
And it's common in the marketing world. Like they always say, and anybody, I know this is like most client facing folks. So I always say like the people who pay you the least are usually the ones who are the neediest clients. And you're like, how does that come to be? It just is what it is, you know? Some of the ones who will give you a lot of money, they don't bother you as much because they already know that you know what you're doing. They have that level of respect and expectation already from you. And if you're blowing it out of the water, they're going to leave you alone by and large. And if they don't, by the way, they're paying you more. So yeah,
you also have to you have to build to that point though. Like they're not going to pay someone a premium amount who they don't feel like can fulfill their needs, right? And that's where the perceived likelihood of achievement aspect of Hormozy's value equation comes in. People got to feel like you're going to be able to deliver on what you're trying to sell them. And funny enough, if you're charging more, that kind of builds that in. Like if people they're going to expect that, oh, you're charging more, you must be higher quality. I'm not saying don't inflate your prices if you can't provide that quality,
right? But
I'm saying that it does allow clients to be in a better position when you're charging more, because if you charge less, they're going to look at you as less. It's basic psychology, and Hormozy teaches that in the book as well too.
Yeah, they're like the professional versus like the person who's just getting started into something too. Like the basic like photographer dilemma, right? Of like the photographer just getting into it will charge less, but you know you're trying to help a friend out, but you're expecting like perhaps amateur results as opposed to like a profestional.
You should charge 10K for free when you first start. Actually, like Hormozy teaches that in that book. Not only did he teach that, I did that. I remember going downtown, not Colorado Springs, downtown Kansas City, walking into businesses and then being like, "Can I make a video for you for free?" And people just look at you like you're stupid. And it sucks because you got to go through a lot of no's for that too. You got to go through no's for free. And it teaches you a lot of things though. But it's interesting how like people will say no to you even if it's free, because it's not free. What it's going to cost them is their time. It's going to cost them the energy that they have to put into making this thing that they don't even know why they're doing it because it's free, you know? So, but I think you build those case studies though from the free ones. That's why I did with the Frank Sinclair's video, you know, I was building that case study so that I could show other people, hey, I'm working with this person. And that just so happened to work really well with Brandon because Brandon loves Frank. So
it's relationships, and everything is relationships, including when you're posting on social, right? Like what I found and what I tell my clients is that like they're like, why do we need to be posting and doing all these different? It's like because you're establishing like a relationship with the users. And by the way, they probably have to like you because they're getting hit with ads all day long. We know as marketers, you get hit with thousands of ads every day, every single person.
I know the number. I think I just learned about it. It was the average person like sees X amount of ads a day. I can't remember.
Insane.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So what's going to make you different? Like you got to establish a relationship with the user.
Speaking of
Under Armour, right?
Speaking of knowing numbers, did you see on the last episode when you were talking about how many decisions you make a day? When I shouted out 33,000, I was actually very close. It was 35. Really? It was 35,000.
Oh, really? I wanted to bring this up on this episode too because I think this is kind of funny. I was watching, which I never watch, Gary Vee. And, well, I like Gary Vee, but I just never. He's not on my algorithm anymore.
Yeah. He kind of. I got him back on my algorithm recently.
But he came out. I think it was today. So I'm pretty sure you haven't. Today or yesterday?
Was he green? Was he on the stage and there's green background?
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I watched the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I knew you would.
And now he's back in my algorithm because I seen on YouTube. Like, yeah,
pretty cool stuff.
That was a good one. Yeah.
But by the way, what he mentioned something that you took advice on once upon a time, where he was like, "Oh, by the way, if you just have a podcast in your said city, and you ask the top performing dentist to be on your show, he'll probably say yes because everybody's got an ego and everybody wants to be on the show."
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up the exact same scenario in which you started the COS Business Podcast 4 years ago. And I thought it was kind of like a full circle moment for me because I've never heard him say that before. Mm-hmm. But then he brought it back up. I mean, he probably said it, 4.5 years ago, or whatever it was, when he initially first said that, right?
Yeah, and he specifically in the first time he said, literally start your city name business podcast.
Yeah.
This time there was a little bit of a nuance though. I liked the exact example he used for real estate agents. If you're a real estate agent, start a podcast and go interview the school principal specifically. Like that's a neighborhood thing, you know? So it's like, he's so smart with how he's freeballing most of these things. He's just been doing it for so long that he just freestyling.
Off the cuff.
Yeah.
That's the professional way to say it, probably.
Yeah. I'm going to start a TV show called Off the Cuff, and me and Edgar are going to be handcuffed together for a week.
We did have Edgar on one episode earlier.
No, we didn't. We had Mr. Whisker Paws.
Well,
you're not supposed to reveal his identity.
Yeah, they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that episode.
We can actually reveal his identity because his face isn't in it. So I think you don't mind voices, right? As long as it's the face.
What?
Our producer, everybody.
I hope we can hear his voice in there.
We can't.
You will.
Now you can because that camera's close enough.
Yeah.
It's the mics.
I know, but I have scratch audio recording on all three of those. Just in case something does happen outside of these mics, I can just use that.
We're going to have Edgar on one of the episodes. We really do. He's the heart and soul of not the podcast, but just in
if
general.
you haven't listened to the cat episode, definitely listen to it. It's more of a comedy episode, but the cat is a business owner. So we took it as from that angle. So we were improvising kind of everything with a structure behind it. It was really fun to do. It was all because Edgar said earlier that day that we should do a podcast with the cat. And next thing I knew, we were doing it.
My gosh. Well, before we start wrapping this up, man, like the story's been incredible. Like the things you've been doing now, 4.5 years, fast forward to today.
Mm-hmm.
What are some like maybe some advice for someone who's starting up in videography, doesn't know anything, wants to get plugged into their community, say they're from Colorado Springs? What are some steps for them to get started?
The first step that I said earlier, read $100 million offers and $100 million leads.
Yeah.
Read those books and read them front to back and back to front. Just go over that material as much as you can as possible. That is your course. And there's even a free video course for every single chapter online for free. It's so insane. Everything that I've ever learned through the Video Warrior stuff, everything you can learn in ClickFunnels, it's all free. It's insane. And like you can find the PDF for Alex Hormozi's book for free. You can find it if you search hard enough. I found it. And and then there's the audio. And the audio versions are free because he releases it on he releases like every chapter on his podcast.
The game.
The game. So you can check if you want to listen to the audio version without having to pay Audible, go to the game podcast and listen to that. Cause I'm actually pretty dyslexic. I found out recently. I've always thought I was, but I was filming for a client and they had like a 2-hour session with a person who had been teaching kids with dyslexia for like 23 years. And so he was breaking down everything. And it wasn't an emotional talk, but it was emotional for me.
Yeah.
It was insane. I felt like it was pretty, it's just emotional for me because everything was clicking so much. And also like if I would have had the right training at the like the right intervention when I was like in the first grade, not 1 years old, but like when I was in the first grade, if I would have had the proper training, school would have been so much easier for me. But I didn't even really know I was
crazy.
dyslexic. So yeah, and it just, I brought up the dyslexia thing because why?
Because you're ADD. That's why. Yeah, that's why.
Which those two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you want to listen to the audiobook because you're dyslexic, use audiobooks and YouTube as to your advantage because 20 years ago we didn't have those kinds of tools. People who have dyslexia didn't have those kind of resources. I've read so many books without reading any of them. It's insane. I listened to them and I consumed them. I remember the exact location I was at when I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, Rampart Park. I was walking Marsha around it, listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know Rampart Park? Rampart Park?
Oh, yeah.
Rampart High School?
Yeah.
You ever been there?
Yeah. They're a rival school. Our friend Kim went there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I would go to the trail on the side of it, where the ring things are.
BMX track.
Yeah, BMX tracks. Yeah. And it's cool because that's one thing you get about from listening to books as opposed to reading books. You're usually in certain locations and you can recall exactly where you were when you listened to a specific book.
Sometimes I could do that with books though too. If I was in a certain place.
Oh yeah. If you were in a certain place for sure. Yeah. But you're not walking a trail. But unless you are, I don't know.
I'm not that good. You know how clumsy I am already. So no.
That's my best advice right there. I really think so because it's a blueprint for how to be successful in any business. But if I were to if I was to give advice that wasn't go read a book, it would be, let me think. Let me do a Jordan Peterson pause. He pauses for 10 seconds. And I can't pause for 10 seconds. I can't even pause for one.
I know one that you did for sure is you put yourself out there and you make connections.
Mm-hmm.
That was big. A lot of people are scared to do that.
Yes. Yeah. And I still am.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that.
That's good for people to know though, right? that you are still scared to do that, right?
And, I remember it's going to have to edit that out.
Well, you were telling me about the first time you ever went to a networking event that you were in the car just contemplating whether you should just leave. It
was Power Connectors where I met Frank Sinclair.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you didn't. And your life probably changed from going to that initial first one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember, that was, I guess that wasn't the first one, but for legacy's sake, let's call that the first one. The first one was actually in Kansas City when I did the chamber meeting, but it was during the day, it was lunch and there was hundreds of people and I was able to kind of just stay on the sides. And
that's me.
Yeah.
I like perimeter watching.
Yeah.
Sure.
So technically that was my first one, but I remember the one that was the most impactful was that one night at Power Connectors. It starts at 5 p.m. It was around this time of the year, which is October. And so it was already starting to get darkish a little bit. And I remember sitting in my car. I'm I don't want to go to this. I already went to 2 other networking events where I didn't go into actually before that.
Wow, so you didn't actually go inside of, huh?
Yeah, at Halencia. I think that's what it's called. Halencia. Where we parked at when we met with your mom.
Oh, Hacienda.
Hacienda.
I was like, who's Halencia? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That means plantation. I looked it up. I think it does. Is that right? No? Okay, never mind. All right.
Resident Mexican over here. Not me. But
what does it mean then, Edgar? Mr. I know every Spanish word. In English? Farm. Plantation.
Yep.
There
you go.
They plant things there. Anyways, I remember there was a network meeting there and everyone there was wearing suits and I remember it was in the back room and I remember peeking in and then turning around and leaving.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Power Connectors one I went to and that was a good one and then literally Power Connectors was on a Tuesday, Million Cups was on a Wednesday. Everyone at Power Connectors was oh, go to Million Cups. This was when Million Cups was popping. I don't know. Yeah. It may still be popping now. I haven't been in a year or two, but this was when it was really popping.
One of the biggest in the country, if not the
it was the biggest.
In the
Yeah, it was. They bragged about that. I remember that. Mm-hmm. Frank Sinclair every week, the biggest one in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a big part of growing that, I think, too, as well. But getting it to where it was.
So find community leaders too, people who are this in the community who are just doing things selflessly for the community, like a Frank Sinclair, like a Brandon Kirk, who was the first sponsor of this show. Those people help drive through so much for you in the beginning and give you the actual validation of I can do this.
That's actually that's a good. I could add to my advice onto that actually. So when I went into that networking meeting, when you go into a networking meeting, identify the person who is the biggest in the room and go up to them and punch them in the face. To show dominance, you know.
Don't do that.
Go up to the person who's the brightest, who shines the most. And Frank Sinclair was that. He was chaperoning it, like he was doing the MC stuff. He was talking on stage, and like I just knew he was glowing the most out of everyone in the room. And so I walked up to him, went to him, got his card, and like reached out to him. And he was like, "I do have this project I want to do," and I was like, "Let's do this project." And I remember when we filmed that project, I had my nifty 50 and I needed the film. It was so bright, it was like daylight. I needed to put an ND filter on it. Didn't have an ND filter that fit my nifty 50. And I remember having to tape the nifty 50 on with electrical tape and hold it on there so that when we filmed it, and I remember Frank Sinclair telling me this, he was like, "This is going to be part of your story one day." Like, and obviously I was doing it for free too, so it didn't feel as bad, but it did make me feel like, oh, I look shitty as fuck right now. SAF.
Yeah.
But San Francisco.
Yep.
But yeah, I remember him telling me, "Hey, this is just going to be part of your story one day," and it is, you know.
Thanks. So even him saying that's pretty cool. I mean, thinking about like the first maybe embarrassing moment doing your very first shoot, it's free, doesn't matter. Like you're doing something like that can be potentially very embarrassing for yourself, and then someone still being like encouraging, which he's like the chief encouragement officer of Colorado Springs, essentially.
He is, CEO, yeah.
Uh-huh.
What's cool about like with my YouTube training and like YouTube training, what I mean is like how I learned how to do video. One of my biggest influences was Casey Neistat, and this dude just throws around his gear. Like if he had to tape something on there, it's because he wanted to or because it was convenient, and he wouldn't even think about like how this looks bad. Like yeah, he has a really cool story of his first video client too, because I actually didn't know he was a videographer. His first video client was like Bill Clinton. Like, well, it was someone, and it was a wedding, and Bill Clinton was there, so he filmed Bill Clinton like in the late 90s or something like that. So yeah, so he go put up clip.
The first gig that we ever got. Here are the list of people to interview, and the list of people to interview were like Bill Clinton.
No, you got to interview Bill?
Yeah, and we had this really funny idea. Our idea was that we give him a t-shirt to Bill Clinton, to President Clinton, that says, "Fred Hochberg turned 50 and all I got was this stupid t-shirt." But we get there and his handlers are like, "You want to do what now?" And we're like, "We have an idea." And they're like, "No ideas." She leaves. Her laptop's open. Yeah, delete everything. He comes in. "Nope, good to see you, Mr. President." We like sit down and see, like,
"You're interviewing the president on the camera you bought when you were flat broke at like 16 years old."
And she's like, "I'm sorry, Mr. President." And he's like, "Jessica, I gotta get out of here." And I was like, "Mr. President, I have an idea. Here's the idea." And I was like, "We made you this." And he's like, "Boys, I love it. You're recording?" And we're like, "Yep." And he like one take wonder, nails it.
Yeah.
Like we played the dinner, everybody loved it. The president was there.
Post conspiracy?
Yeah.
Okay. Post Monica?
Yeah. And it was just really cool how he got that gig and like what they charged, and like it's a really inspiring story. And they were using crappy camcorders. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And they were taping him, but it was also the late 90s. So yeah.
I mean, that's what it was.
That's what it was, but they were definitely crappy ones too on top of that. But,
yeah.
Which so we think it's a good point to wrap it up.
Yeah. So anything else? Anywhere we can find you? This guy can't be watching this no more.
We need a mic over there for all his laughs, dude. I'm gonna put a laugh track in.
Yeah.
Oh, I got all of his laughs from that cat episode. I could just like edit them into there. Yeah. Vehementvisuals.com is where you can book a meeting. You can see my video business card, and I actually have a PDF that I might put in the description of this, and
nice.
It breaks down the entire brand accelerator package, and there's on page 5 it has 8 different story brand videos that I've done. Well, 7 of them actually, but I've done over 25 story brand videos, and so I have the experience. I can prove that I'm capable of doing what I'm talking about, and that feels good because when I first started out, I was like, I learned the video warrior stuff, but never done it before. Besides trying to film my own ones for myself, and those weren't that good at all. And it was crazy that I was trying to sell it to other people, but you know, you got to start somewhere.
On top of that, just as a referral and testimonial for you, like you're someone who has a marketing mind, like at the forefront of everything you do on the video side. So if someone really wants to push their brand, you're not just a person holding a camera, like you have the whole like again, the brand accelerator
Mm-hmm.
is talking about like all the way through what this is actually going to mean, as opposed to I want a pretty video, give me a pretty video. There's so much more to what you do with it. You're a person who's connected in the community as well of Colorado Springs. So like anybody who's local here, like get in touch with Andrew. He knows people in all verticals really, and has really put himself out there for the past 4.5 years to, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to push yourself outside your comfort zone for that long and to create your own podcast, to create your own video company, to go to these networking things. And so you're just an overall good person. So I wanted to give you your kudos, man, for that as well.
Thank you, man. Yeah. And if you do decide to work with me on a brand accelerator package, I don't run the ads. I don't do the stuff for the other stuff on top of that. And guess who does over here? Like, very good partner over here, Marcus Alvarado, with you as well. Yeah. So on top of that, our services coupled together could be really powerful, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, get in touch with us. This has been an awesome episode, man. Definitely well overdue. I think the last time we did like something really like this was episode 100.
100, yeah. And this is 108.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100 episodes. Yeah.
108 episodes later, right?
108 episodes. Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, so episode 208. So
that's pretty
insane.
Cool, you know?
Yeah, we're really doing things, man. And any lasting things that you want to say before we jump off? How about you ring us out, actually?
No, just kidding. Anyways, what's that?
Christopher Walken?
I'll stab you in the face with a Saturn iron. I can't do his voice. I could try it.
Christopher Walken.
I could try
as Edgar just said.
Yeah. I could try it. Anyways, edit all of that out. If you don't leave us a view, then you're not watching. I don't know. I'm improvising. Okay, take 3. What's a good way to end this? Should I tell people to subscribe, or should I tell people to leave a review?
You can do whatever you want, man.
I mean, it's called to action time, man. Yeah. Or should I say? Did I already say? Oh, go check out vehementvisuals.com to learn more about the video brand accelerator package. It's on there. All the information is on the website. You can learn more about me, my business, my video business card, story brand video. It breaks everything down, although it's constantly being updated. But yeah, I think that's a good way to end it.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yes, and please like and subscribe as well.
Yeah. Or just do one of the others. At least just one. I mean, just do one of them. If you're not liking, just subscribe. If you're not subscribing, like it. If you're not liking, do them both, comment. If you're not doing that, leave a review. And if you are doing all of that, we're going to send you $5. The Google? Oh, I can't just do the giggle. It has to happen organically. I'm like the frog and the WB frog. You know the frog? Hello, my darling. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal.
They talk about the Budweiser frogs.
What frog?
The what's up? You know what I'm talking about? The what's up? They go, what's up? You don't remember that?
That was from Scream.
No, that was from Budweiser. That was from Budweiser.
Not Scream, but Scary Movie. Scary Movie. But they were making fun of it. Yeah.
From Budweiser, yeah.
Yeah, they were making fun of it. I didn't know it was Budweiser that did that. I thought it was like Pizza Hut or something.
No, it was Budweiser.
Did you know Pizza Hut was one of the first websites?
In general?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mike?
One of the first businesses to have a website, at least. If not the first. Look it up. Put up a clip.
Ever heard of Glow Nation? First e-commerce glow paint business of all time. Used to be one of my clients. They
I did.
$10 million a year.
You told me about that.
On glow paint.
Or I heard you talk about it somewhere.
Glow Nation. Look them up. I don't think they're around anymore though, but look them up.
I think we talked about it on this podcast. Preliminary.
This is gonna be the outtake part, by the way. This is the longest close of all time.
So what are you doing this Wednesday?
Yeah.
You know why the Ent building was built?
Interviewing Nova.
So sturdy?
Why was the Ent building built?
So sturdy.
So sturdy? Why was the Ent building built so sturdy? Because of...
What are you looking at me for? This fool.
Should we record ad reads right now? I've been using the same ones for like a month.
I gotta eat, but yeah, we can
do that. Let's do that.
Let's go
eat
first.
No, we don't.
Honey, you're hungry?
We can recycle.